Welcome to Wilfrid Laurier University's 2023 Spring Convocation. The ceremony will begin in a few moments when the graduating students enter the auditorium. Please remain seated when the students are entering. Once all students have taken their places, there will be a brief pause. Then the music will continue and the officers and the faculty of the university will enter to take their place here on stage. Please rise as you are able and remain standing when the official party enters. I'd also like to draw your attention to the 4 exits on the lower level, 2 on the upper level, on the balcony level. If it becomes necessary to clear the auditorium during the ceremony, the volunteers, like myself, will help assist you to these exits. We trust that you will enjoy this convocation ceremony. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Welcome to Spring Convocation 2023. I'm Eileen Mercier, Chancellor of Wilfrid Laurier University. Convocation is now in session. Please be seated. Laurier's Waterloo and Brantford campuses are located on the shared traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. This land is part of the Dish with One Spoon Treaty between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples and symbolizes the agreement to share, protect our resources, and not to engage in conflict. Wilfrid Laurier's campuses are close to 18 First Nations communities and 12 Métis councils. So we strive to improve our relationship with the land and people with whom we share it. Acknowledging them reminds us of our important connection to this land, where we live, learn, and work. We recognize, honor, and respect these nations as the traditional stewards since time immemorial of the lands and water on which Laurier is now present. We are grateful to hold this convocation ceremony on these lands today. As Chancellor, it is my honor and pleasure to be the one to confer upon you the degrees and diplomas which you have earned while here at Laurier. It is truly wonderful that we are back to celebrating Convocation as we did before the pandemic. We are all so proud of you, who had to endure much in order to complete your studies. The pandemic affected all studies to some degree, but my heart goes out to those of you who began your undergraduate degree in 2019. You hardly had a chance to adjust to university life before it was all taken away. We applaud your tenacity and resilience and congratulate you on your accomplishment. One would be forgiven for being a bit depressed at the fact that there is so much news these days that is not good for people and not good for the planet. However, when I look out at the audience today, I am once again struck by the fact that education is the single most important tool we have for changing the world for the better. In a world where provable truth, goodness, thoughtfulness, and care for the welfare of others seems harder than ever to find, you who have had the privilege of a fine and rigorous education have a responsibility to use what you have learned, not only for your own benefit, but for the benefit of others. We are so fortunate in Canada, where we are able to debate the truth and relevance of any fact, criticize our government if it needs it, work for change, and challenge the status quo. There are many countries where that is not true, and it seems that there are more of those than ever before. There are millions of children who get no education at all, especially girls. This we all have to work to change. Challenging those who would have power over us is a dangerous business in many places. It is not so here, as long as it is done within our legal framework. And if new legislation is needed, there are ways to work to influence that as well. Knowing what or whom to trust is not simple. The debate over artificial intelligence brings that sharply into focus. It could be enormously beneficial in eliminating the time spent on routine, repetitive tasks, or speeding up the time to find cures for intractable diseases. It could also lead us into believing things that are either not true at all or biased in subtle ways that produce bad outcomes. You have been trained to analyze and question in ways that many have not had the opportunity to do. Work hard to use what you have learned to bring the best out of these new technologies and reject that which is harmful. This will be the legacy of your generation. Separating fact from fiction is also difficult. There is an old saying about not believing everything you read in the newspaper. However, the idea that media, whether delivered over television, in print, or social media outlets, set out deliberately to spread lies and misinformation is a new phenomenon, and one which we need to fight against with every breath. Again, use those skills that you have learned here, whether scientific, statistical, or cultural, to dig deep to find the truth and spread that word. Then, once you have decided whom or what to trust, Be loyal to those people, to that cause, to that field of study or work. Loyalty is underrated. You have received a wonderful education here at Laurier, as did I. Next year, it will be 60 years since I arrived here, a naive but eager 17-year-old. This university gave me so much, and I am happy now to give back. I urge you to do the same. Stay close to the friends you have made here, to the faculty that nurtured you, and to the institution as a whole. If you want help with your choices of career or life, there are lots of people here eager to help you. So now go out and make yourself, your family, and your university proud. Congratulations to you all. Stay forever golden. I would now like to welcome Dr. Deborah McClatchy, President and Vice Chancellor, to bring greetings.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor. Before we move ahead with today's proceedings, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce some of our colleagues who are participating in today's ceremony. Joining me on stage is our Beadle, Lois Peterson, Dr. Maria Cantalina Williams, the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Kimberly Barber, the Associate Dean of the Faculty of Music, Dr. Steve Sider and Kristen Erie, who will be hooding our graduates, and Jennifer Casey, AVP Enrollment Services, who will hand out medals. Good morning to everyone here, our graduates, as well as your supporters who are here to celebrate with you today. Congratulations on this remarkable achievement. Graduating from university is a significant accomplishment, and this commencement marks a new chapter in your lives. In the coming years, my hope is that you approach every opportunity and challenge you meet on your journey fully engaged and with a spirit of community. Now, normally, I would be launching into a much longer speech, but this morning you are in for a real treat. 2 honorary degree recipients, one in the field of education and one in the field of music, are here to inspire. You're very lucky to be here today, to be able to hear from these amazing leaders rather than me. I know you got lots of emails, especially during the pandemic for me, so this is good. But before we begin to hear from our honored guests, I'll take a moment to recognize your family members, your friends, the faculty and staff here at Laurier, and all other supporters who have helped you reach this moment. I know they have played an integral role on this journey, supporting you through the many ups and downs of earning your degree. So please join with me, graduates, in a round of applause to recognize the community that has supported you, allowing you to reach today's monumental achievement. I wish you all the best on your future endeavors. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Maggie McDonald, an honorary degree recipient this morning, and I now ask that Dr. Maria Cantalini Williams come to the podium to read the citation.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chancellor, President McClatchy, colleagues, graduates, and special guests. It is my distinct privilege and pleasure to present to you our honorary degree recipient, Maggie McDonald, as she truly exemplifies the qualities of empathetic and inspiring educator. Being the recipient of the Global Teacher Prize in 2017, Maggie is a wonderful role model of a Canadian teacher who promotes pride and purpose in her students. As you will soon observe and enjoy, you will note that Maggie is very energetic, articulate, passionate, and connected to the global education community. It's interesting to note that I had the opportunity to hear Maggie speak at a conference in Norway in 2019, and I can still remember every story of her keynote. After her address, we coincidentally met outside as I was walking out of the conference, and I was wearing these Canadian mitts, which Maggie quickly recognized, and so we took a photo together. Hope you don't mind the artifacts, but as you might know, teachers like props. Our Laurier Faculty of Education is very grateful that Maggie is here to share a strong message of hope and affirmation for the teaching profession. We cannot imagine a more fitting person to be honored today at this convocation, including education graduates. Maggie is a teacher and a sports development practitioner with over 15 years of global field experience. Her work has brought her to many corners of the globe and includes having worked with refugees in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, HIV, AIDS activists in Tanzania, and Inuit youth in northern Canada. She completed her undergraduate degree in human kinetics at St. Francis Xavier University, studied leadership and community development at Coady International Institute, and pursued her master's degree on gender, sport, and community development at the University of Toronto. Her work on sport as a tool in peace building was recognized and shared at the Beijing Olympics. For 7 years, Maggie taught in a fly-in Inuit community called Saluit, where she helped establish many innovative and inclusionary programs which made a tremendous positive impact. Based on her revolutionary work in education, in 2017, Maggie, a Canadian teacher born in Nova Scotia, was named the winner of the $1 million, US dollars, Global Teacher Prize from the Varkey Foundation, standing out from 20,000 nominees from 179 countries across the world. Maggie was interestingly nominated by 4 of her Inuit students. This Global Teacher Prize has been likened to a Nobel Prize for teachers. Maggie's also been recognized for her service by the Governor General of Canada and the Albert Einstein Foundation, and she was named one of the British Broadcasting Corporation's top 100 women. Maggie's passionate about developing education programs that create opportunities for social mobility, empower youth, and cultivate healthy communities. She has worked in communities with high numbers of student pregnancies, drug and alcohol abuse, alarming suicide rates, and disruptive teacher turnover. For Maggie, this context is a challenge, and to her, teaching represents the way to connect to youth, to understand their realities, and to subsequently design programs to help students reach their full potential. She is the co-founder of Hayak Kayak, which is an organization that aims to revitalize the culture of kayaking with Inuit youth and adults. She's also the co-founder of the Nunavik Running Club, which trains youth to be both runners and philanthropists. Maggie trained her students from Nunavik to actually run marathons in faraway places such as Hawaii. Imagine their pride. Maggie's renowned globally for her work, using physical fitness as a tool for developing self-confidence and re-engagement in learning. She has raised thousands of dollars through a variety of sources. She uses these funds to donate to implement programs that teach life skills to youth. She set up a fitness center in her fly-in school, which became a hub for youth and for their families. The students brought their grandparents and their parents to this fitness center, contributing to community wellness. Her approach is to turn a crisis into a holistic solution. She has taken her students through hikes to not only foster fitness, but also environmental stewardship. Additionally, she's been a temporary foster parent in her communities, including being a foster parent to her own students. Maggie is an inspiration for educators both in Canada and internationally. We are truly fortunate here at Laurier to welcome Maggie into our community and look forward to future collaborations. Madam Chancellor, I'm instructed by the Senate of our university to request that you admit Maggie McDonald to the degree of Lawyer of Laws honoris causa. Thank you.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
So at this time, Dr. McDonald will sign the official registry of the university. This registry contains all the signatures of our honorary degree recipients for the university and is housed in our library archives.
Where do I sign here? Anywhere here. Big moment, guys. Whoa. Great.
And I now have the honor of requesting that Dr. Maggie McDonald address convocation.
All right, so I'm good to go? Okay. Thank you guys so much. I tried to prepare a speech, I really did, but I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I had to travel from Tanzania, and like, it's not really conducive to speech writing on those planes, right? I should have opted for business class. Anyway, it's an absolute pleasure and a delight to be here, and sometimes I just like to respond to the emotions and the authenticity of a room that I step into. And as I was coming into this room, it hasn't been that long since I've also graduated myself, and I just was overwhelmed again when I saw all the parents and the families coming here, because they do so much. And it just makes me think back to my family, particularly my mom, particularly her Scotia Bank card. That helped with the last 3 months of rent. Thank you, Mom. So we could just maybe take a moment, because I think there's a lot of folks in the rafters here who have done some incredible things, and let's just give them a huge, warm round of applause. Mums, dads, and even grandmothers make the world go round, is what I've learned. So I tried to prompt ChatGTP for a really good convocation address, but I'm not like tech skilled enough, so hopefully somebody will help me with that later. So I'm just gonna have to do something more like, handwritten. So I hope it will be okay. But if I am correct, and I haven't done elaborate research on this, just some quick Google searches, but I think it might be the first time, or the first time in a long time, that Laurier, and arguably many universities in Canada, have actually given this honor to a still working classroom teacher. That is so progressive, so refreshing, so authentic, and I just thank the leadership for thinking to shine a spotlight on teachers, especially on your day. As my favorite educational philanthropist, his name is Sonny Varkey. He's my favorite because he gave me $1 million. So that guy's golden to me, okay? And he also says the greatest things. He said, no matter the question, education is the answer. And who delivers that answer? Teachers, teachers, teachers. No education system in the world can outperform the quality of the teachers. You guys are the standard, and I know from teaching in various contexts for about the last 15 to 20 years that teaching is not just hard work, but teaching is heart work. You're dealing with raw humanity, and so many emotions. I know I was in some extreme places, particularly the North, teaching in a suicide crisis, but since winning this award, I've spoken in Chile, Colombia, Norway, Iceland, the UN, Ukraine, you name it. And the consistent message I know when I talk to teachers is that so much of that work is coming from the heart. And so I guess the message I wanted to give to you guys today is about how to take care of your heart. Because sometimes, unfortunately, the political leaderships that we elect don't always take care of us. And I say that as I think right now, I should have introed myself as a Nova Scotian. Any Nova Scotians in the room? Woo! Yes! Love that! Maybe we could share a drive back to Halifax or Cape Breton later? Hook me up, I'll find you at dinner, okay? Yeah. I mean, currently right now we have amazing educators and education assistants in Nova Scotia having to strike, having to negotiate for just basic, decent pay. They do tremendous hard work, and I'm so lucky to be able to be honored right now, but I want people to know that I share this as a teacher with so many past teachers, this future class of teachers, and teachers who have really fought political battles to make sure that we have better conditions in our classroom. So this is the message I'm going to give you. I hope it translates well to how to take care of your heart. I heard this. I was always told there's 3 main things in your life you need to think about. And you need to reflect upon every once in a while, especially if you're getting a little stressed out, or even just reflect upon it when you're having some great days. You got to think about where you are, and in that place that you are, the geography, the landscapes, is that a place that you love? You got to think about who you are with, the people that you're with, whether they're your family, for example, close dear friends, chosen families, and are those the people that you love to be with? And then you got to think about what you are doing. And that what, does it give you joy? Does it give you meaning? So again, 3 things. Where are you? Do you love that place? Who are you with? Do you love them? And what are you doing? And does it give you joy? And to be honest, you don't even need to get 3 out of 3. Even 2 out of 3 is amazing. I taught in the Arctic. That place was like a frozen tundra of -50. The most common pastimes were like ice fishing, and I hate ice fishing, okay? And I do not know how to fix skidoos. I'm an indoor person, okay? So the where was doing nothing for me, okay? There was some cool northern lights, but you had to put on a parka. It was -60 to see them. You try to take a picture with your iPhone and the battery freezes, okay? The where, I wasn't feeling it. But the who was I with? I was with my amazing partner at the time, and still my current partner, Maggie McDonald, just in case he's watching on some live stream. I just said your name. And I was also with the most amazing students who I just fell in love with. So my who was working so much for me. And then what was I doing? I was teaching, but it was more than teaching. It felt like co-creation with these Inuit youth. I was teaching not at them or for them, but I was teaching with them. And it was so meaningful and authentic. It was constantly rejuvenating me. So even when you can get 2 out of 3, you can still win $1 million. And if you ever get 3 out of 3, stay in that lane. That is a good lane to be in. The last piece of advice I have is the KISS principle. Keep it simple and sweet. And that was the speech. Thank you so much.
See, I told you we were in for a treat today. Thank you, Dr. McConnell. Madam Chancellor, I now have the honor of presenting Jane Archibald as honorary degree recipient this morning, and I now ask that Kimberly Barber come to the podium to read the citation.
Madam Chancellor, Madam President, faculty, graduates, guests, it gives me great pleasure to, at long last, present to you one of our most distinguished alumni in the Faculty of Music, Jane Archibald, as the recipient of this year's Honorary Doctorate Honoris Causa. Since graduating with her Bachelor of Music in 1999, Jane has risen to the very top of the international operatic and concert scene, now performing on the greatest stages of the world, the Met, La Scala, Royal Opera House Covent Garden, and many others, alongside the most renowned vocal artists under an impressive roster of A-list conductors. To quote the original nomination letter written by our dear departed former dean, Glenn Carruthers, Jane, quote, has been heralded as the coloratura of our time, according to Medici TV, dazzling audiences with her musical abilities and artistry. She is one of a few voices that listeners seek out when they want to know what a coloratura soprano truly sounds like and what the composers writing for this voice type truly imagined. She is at the top of her field and the embodiment of ability, endurance, and unparalleled professional excellence. Steadily building her career under the continued guidance of Laurier Voice Professor Emeritus Victor Martins, with whom she continued to consult as her schedule allowed until his death in 2018. Jane began her association with San Francisco Opera as a member of the renowned Merilla Program for Young Artists, followed by her position as an Adler Fellow with the company, an honor attained only by the most talented young singers. She subsequently made important company debuts, including the title role in Delibes' Lacmé with Opera Ontario in 2003, where I heard her in my very first year teaching at Laurier. I can truly say I knew her when. Shortly thereafter, in 2005, Jane was the 4th place winner in the Neue Stimmen International Voice Competition in Geneva, one of the most high-profile voice competitions in the world. I happened to be on the jury in 2006 when Jane was recognized for artistic excellence with the Canada Council for the Arts' prestigious Silva Gelber Prize, presented to the most talented musician under 30. The list of her continued accolades is long, including several previous recognitions from Laurier, Alumna of the Year in 2009, and being named one of Laurier's 100 Alumni of Achievement in 2011. Jane won a Juno Award in 2012 in the vocal category for her album of Haydn arias, and was chosen as the Canadian Opera Company's first ever artist in residence for the 2017-2018 season, a residency that carried international recognition. Jane sang major roles in 3 main stage performances and coached and mentored the Young Artist Ensemble. Jane's busy performing schedule has not allowed her traditional teaching opportunities, but she has nonetheless set aside time from her frenetic international schedule. And by frenetic, I mean she is sandwiching us in between sold-out performances at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa to delve into teaching and mentorship roles. In the winter of 2007, she came and spoke to our voice students about the development of her career. In March 2018, she met with Laurier Opera students over Skype while in Toronto rehearsing with the COC. For a full hour, Jane answered questions from students and offered sage advice. In May 2019, in honor of her late teacher, Victor Martins, she does maintain that she could not have had the career she has without his mentorship. She again took time away from her professional schedule to perform, both at his memorial service here in Kitchener-Waterloo and also work with voice students during our annual Voice Lab Spring Intensive. To once again quote Glenn Carruthers, Jane has graciously and brilliantly represented Canada on the international stage. A resident of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Jane regularly makes time to contribute to musical life in Canada, whether that be performances at the COC, retelling the story of Anne Frank with the Halifax Camerata, performing Strauss's four last songs and opera scenes with the Laurier Symphony Orchestra and Choir, or as noted, having a Skype conversation with Laurier's opera students. Jane is a pillar of the Canadian musical community who has deeply inspired young musicians and audiences both here and abroad. In her professional career and in her personal humility, Jane remains true to Laurier's values of inspiring lives of leadership and purpose, end quote. Madam Chancellor, I am instructed by the Senate of the University to request you to admit to the degree of Doctor of Music, honoris causa, Jane McGregor Archibald.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Music, honoris causa.
And I now have the honor of requesting that Dr. Jane Archibald address Convocation.
Good morning, and let me first extend my sincere congratulations to all of the graduates here today. You now join a long list of proud Laurier alumni who are out in the world making it a better place. And what an absolute thrill and honor it is for me to stand before you, accepting this honorary degree from my alma mater. I can easily recall my own graduation from Laurier 24 years ago, and I hope you all feel the same sense of pride, excitement, and curiosity that was bubbling in me back in 1999. As I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, I was very tempted to use the word optimism, because surely today is a day for celebration and positivity, for finding hope and joy as you head into the next chapter, whatever that may be for each of you. I had imagined encouraging you to look ahead with a sense of optimism, but I don't think it would be fair to stand here before you, sprinkling fairy dust while ignoring the very unique challenges facing your generation. The realities of climate change, of social injustice visited upon so many groups, the shifting economic sands, and the sense of division and tribalism that seems to be spreading like a cancer in our world. And surely your generation feels these pressures and stressors more keenly than any which has come before. So, optimism is perhaps not quite the word. And what can I, who started my adult life in a very different time, tell you about making your way in this completely uncharted environment? We are all experiencing these societal challenges together, but from very different perspectives and levels of privilege. It's important to me to acknowledge that. I, like every music grad here today, have a love of music. Mine started as a tiny flame, a little pilot light, if you will, of pure emotion. Every musician knows what I'm talking about. It's a feeling that can't even be constrained by words. It defies accurate description. It's an almost divine feeling. I nurtured that flame and fed it and matched it with hard work, ambition, sacrifice, study, bravery, you name it. It took a lot to create my musical career, and I did it with a lot of help and support and advantages. There have been many ups and downs in my career in music. Ultimately, a job is a job, and you take the good with the bad. But what has never wavered for me, not even in the most difficult of times, has been that little pilot light of musical feeling. If I were to lose my voice tomorrow, still, the exquisite ache of beautiful music, the heart-pounding thrill and power of it would be as strong as ever, and I would continue to experience that deep joy of music. So take a moment to marvel at how lucky we are, that we get to experience that depth of feeling every day, that pilot light of joy. That is a gift. It's a gift to us, of course, but I encourage you all to realize that it's also truly a gift to the world. And I do realize how grandiose that sounds, but hear me out. Because I don't mean the gift is your amazing talent, which you undoubtedly have, or technical prowess, or brilliance, or insight, or inspiration. I mean that the very existence of that pilot light, flickering in each of us, is a magical source of empathy and compassion. It's a shortcut to vulnerability that is so desperately needed in our world. It's needed more than ever. Because it's impossible to make music, real music, without accessing the most authentic and human parts of ourselves. We are not drawn to interface with music if we are closed down, if we are shut off from our real emotions. Now, each of you will go out into the world and use your music degree in your own way. You may perform, like me, or teach, or research, or more likely some combination of those things, or you may use it as a stepping stone on your path to another career entirely. But wherever your musical path takes you, please promise to safeguard that little pilot light inside of you. It is your starting ingredient for empathy, and the more you tend to it and access it, the more easily you will be able to share it with those around you. And trust me, empathy is something you're going to need a lot of in the decades to come, in every single area of your life. First and foremost, I can tell you from experience that you'll need a lot of compassion for yourselves. You will need to know how to give yourself grace when you fail. So start there, because you cannot extend grace to others if you deny it to yourself. And you'll need to have compassion for the arts themselves, because while giving joy to a privileged group, they have also historically excluded so many. There's an overdue reckoning coming, hopefully already underway, that is going to be bumpy. We will need empathy to help guide us as we open our doors and hearts and minds to new voices. And please, extend your hands in both directions, to the generations ahead of you and to those that are coming up behind. And when your opinions and perspectives inevitably don't match up, don't snatch your hand away in contempt. Grasp on even tighter, take a deep breath, access that pilot light, and find common ground. It is the only way forward. You may be surprised at just how many people soften and start to listen when they are given grace. Now, I'm not pretending that artists are the only people with a magical source of empathy. The education graduates here today who desire to share knowledge and broaden the minds of others are also surely motivated by a similar internal source of positivity. I like to think that every human is born with that magic inside of them. But not everyone is set on a path that allows and encourages them to stay in touch with it on a daily basis. That's your gift when you embark on a life in music. So wherever your path takes you, and it will surely be somewhere that you cannot foresee today, stay in touch with that spark, share it, protect it, and make it your mission to share the magic humanity of music with as many people as possible in any of the myriad ways available to you. The arts are not just a hobby or entertainment or amusement. They are an essential bridge to compassion, and you are their newest advocate. I know that you are up to the task. Good luck, and thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Jerzy Kaplanek, this year's recipient of the Award for Service Excellence and Community Engagement. And I now ask that Dr. Jeremy Bell come to the podium to read the citation.
Good morning. Madam Chancellor, dear colleagues, students, friends, and family. I am honored and humbled by this opportunity to pay tribute to my extraordinary colleague, Jerzy Kaplanek. Jerzy has devoted his life to Laurier's Faculty of Music for over 30 years in his role as violin professor and member of the Penderecki String Quartet, Laurier's string quartet in residence. I joined Jerzy in the Penderecki Quartet 24 years ago, and I have witnessed his enormous energy, drive, and tireless commitment to the success and development of our music faculty and the music community in Waterloo and beyond. His days are filled with practicing, rehearsing, teaching, and rigorous administration. And Jerzy goes about this pace with both seriousness and fun, always time for a joke, and always making the most of every moment. Working with Jerzy has been very illuminating for me. In essence, he is highly constructive, supportive, he's a democratic partner, and always quick to undo frustrations. He has been a role model and like an older brother to me, and today I'm very happy to play second fiddle to you, Jerzy. These qualities are key to understanding his astonishing accomplishments. Jerzy has performed over 3,000 concerts across the globe and recorded over 40 albums. At Laurier, Jerzy has founded two major entities that have thrived under his passionate directorship. One is Quartet Fest, an annual 2-week summer quartet institute that provides intensive training and concerts, bringing together students and faculty from across Canada, USA, and South America. The other program Jerzy developed is Laurier's String Academy. This program offers lessons and performances for pre-college students on our Laurier campus and provides opportunities for our undergraduate students to teach beginners in supervised settings. Jerzy also frequently appears as a soloist in concertos and recitals, and he's performed several times with many of the orchestras in our community, including the Kitchener Waterloo Symphony. Some of you may remember a few years ago he performed the Tchaikovsky Concerto in Cambridge. It was delivered with such fluidity and power. Jerzy's music making explores a wide range of repertoire representing diverse cultural backgrounds. He has also in recent years developed his jazz chops and is an audience favorite at the Waterloo Jazz Club. Jerzy's excellence as an educator is well known. He is highly sought after as a guest teacher at conservatories and universities across Canada and abroad. He is beloved to his students around the world who have thrived professionally from Jerzy's impact. You can find his former students working in the finest orchestras, chamber ensembles, as prominent educators, music therapists, and much more. Jerzy's patience and clarity in violin instruction has brought consistent results and improvements for his students in terms of posture, ease of motion, artistry, and confidence. I've witnessed time again how Jerzy avails himself to students. He is routinely the first one teaching in the morning at Laurier and often the last to finish. Jerzy is also a natural organizer of events. Last November, Jerzy led a team that organized a 6-hour benefit concert for the Ukraine. The event featured professional musicians from around this region and local Ukrainian musicians. A vibrant sense of community pride was percolating that day as a significant amount of money was raised for aid relief through ticket sales and silent auction. The success of this event is just one example of many showing Jerzy's leadership genius. Jerzy's passion and purpose has a spark to it that can galvanize and inspire those around him to come together to put ideas to work. Today, I share the presentation of this award along with my esteemed Penderecki quartet mates, Christine Bleich and Katie Schleicher, who I know echo this deep admiration and love for Jerzy. And of course, this moment extends to all the students, colleagues, and people in this community who cherish Jerzy's exceptional abilities, work ethic, positivity, and drive to share his gifts for the greater good. Jerzy, we are grateful to you for the many years you have inspired us and connected us as a community, and for the exceptional artistry you bring to us with such passion and joy. Congratulations.
It's great to be able to celebrate so many amazing people today at Convocation. And now it's time to celebrate our graduates. So we're going to begin the conferral process. Will all those who are here to receive degrees and diplomas please rise as you are able? Madam Chancellor, I take great pleasure in presenting those who have successfully completed the studies prescribed, fulfilled all the conditions thereto appointed, and been recommended for degrees and diplomas by the Senate of the University.
In accordance with the laws of the Province of Ontario, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I admit you to the degrees and diplomas as shall be announced by the presenters. Graduates, the marshals will now instruct you row by row to begin making your way backstage. As we prepare for the stage crossing, I would also like to share that as an important part of our ceremony today, Indigenous graduates will receive a unique stole with symbolic meaning. One side of the stole depicts the dish with one spoon treaty wampum belt between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe. And as I shared in the land acknowledgement earlier, this land is part of the dish with one spoon treaty between those peoples and symbolizes the agreement to share, protect our resources, and not to engage in conflict. On the other side of the stole is the Office of Indigenous Initiatives logo. Based on the Haudenosaunee creation story, this logo reminds us of how the first seeds of life on Earth were planted on the back of a turtle. The inner segments of the dome represent the Ojibwe's 7 grandfather teachings: love, respect, wisdom, bravery, truth, honesty, and humility. The golden rays of the sun symbolize enlightenment, learning, and new beginnings. The Métis beaded purple flower represents the gifts of plant life from the sky world, which encourage and sustain life. The entire design rests on the waters of life.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Julie Mueller. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Education, and I, along with Professor Lee Willingham in the Faculty of Music, have the privilege of reading the names of our talented graduates today. This is an exciting day for all of us, and we take pride in the accomplishments of all graduates. We welcome applause to acknowledge your graduates and show how proud you are of them. Graduates are asked to remain in their seats until all fellow graduates have received their degrees and convocation is completed. Madam Chancellor, I am pleased to present the following for the degree of Master of Education from the Faculty of Education. Well, that was a good start. Kamaya Adamson. Sharon Lynn Addy.
80.
Alicia Zulaika Hakal. Jordan Philip Ashton. Shannon Becker. Daniel Joseph Brisbois. Christopher Caparici. Erin Michelle Chancise. Jacqueline Patrice DeRubes. Michaela Ann Stella Delgudis. Amanda Michelle De Batista. Artie Divadia. Gabriela Mercedes Echeverria. Sarah Ann Enright. Christine Nicole Heimbecker. Mitchell Winton Higgins. Recipient of the Medal of Academic Excellence for the master's level for the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, Will Fawcett Hill. Gina Itani. Recipient of the Medal of Academic Excellence for the master's level for the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, Ashley Jeffries Fraser. Gilda Johnstone. Stephanie Ann Kavanaugh. Marie Korzak. Catherine Lauren Labruzzo. Amelia Jane Della Rosbell Lavery. Jose Claire Melenfant. Recipient of the Medal of Academic Excellence for the master's level for the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, Joshua Todd Manuel. Julia Loretta Martini. Anne-Marie Melchiona. Tyson Jordan Andrew Moss. Marisa Monroe.
Jody Lee Neuendijk. Heather Papp. Shelby Alexandra Paquette. Serena Rose Partington. Heather Lynn Prince. Tracy Lynn Reese. Stacy Lee Rennie. Aaron Reagan. Camilla Francis Romano. Lachelle Saunders. Alana Lee Sewich. Emma Catherine Schultz. James William George Shearer. Molly Elizabeth Smith. Recipient of the Medal of Academic Excellence for the Master's level for the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, Candace Kissian Stewart Smith. Lindsay Ann Taylor. Alexandra Vonok. Xianzhang Zhu. Alan Young. Trevor Ziedler. Madam Chancellor, this ends the list. Madam Chancellor, this ends the list. Okay, we're going to end shortly. When your name starts with Z, you have to take your moment. Madam Chancellor, this ends the list of those presented for master degrees from the Faculty of Education. Madam Chancellor, I am pleased to present the following for the degree of Bachelor of Education from the Faculty of Education. Nathan Lewis Amesbury. Kristen Alexa Andre. Bianca Antonio Azzarello. Amelia Christine Bakerfeld. Andrew Constantine Baldazzi. Carly Alta Bar.
Justin Maynard Bauman. Samantha Lise Bayer. Brendan Michael Belanger. Sydney Elizabeth Belford. Emily Elizabeth Blake. Nicholas Alexander Bollerino. Elena Rose Boyle. Alyssa Ann Bribber. Libby Karen Burkett. Matthew Alec Burns. Windekin Buteau Deichschreiber. Perfect. Dawn Chelsea Byers. Ryan Michael Burney. Andrew Regan Kane. Sarah Ann Jane Cairns. Benjamin Paul Carvin. Caitlin Serafina Korvich. Jamie Leanne Cook. Taylor Mackenzie Cook. Valerie Kathleen Cornish. Emily Kate Curtis. Kaylee Curtis. Let me do that again, I missed your middle name. Kaylee Bryn Curtis. Michelle Alexandra Curtis. Sabrina da Cruneva. Kenneth Scott DeYoung. Nicholas Daniel DiGianatale. Martina Dragisevich. Heather Lee Brown Duff. Amy Victoria Edwards. Nika Chrisanne Edwin. Andrea Suzanne Enns. Jessica Jennifer Ernst. Erica Lorraine Parise Fiorillo. Isaac Samuel Fishbein. Alexa Leone Fraser. Abigail Rose Friedel. Sarah Jane Fulop Kane. Emma Mary Catherine Furtney. Jessica Marie George. Carrie Lynn Getliff. Matthew Giordano. Francesca Pamela Anastasia Goldberg. Skylar Eve Kotaba Golem. Sean Goodman. Chelsea Marina Gravenor. Victoria Lynn Griffiths. Jamie Patricia Harder. Brittany Houghton. Madison Alexia Bouchard Hudson. Ricardo David Ianello. Sarah Grace Inch. Michaela Irving. Holly Patricia Avani. Samira Jiwa. Juliana Clara Jensen. Jennifer Louise Joseph. Ty William Juniper. Nicole Patricia Canalti. Hayden Louise Elizabeth Carey. Aliza Khan. Satara Khanizadeh. Monica Gabrielle Kohlmeyer. Patricia Krish. Spencer Daniel Leckie. Elizabeth Mary Lorraine LeMay. Chi-Chi Leong. Jewel Louise Lindemann. Abigail Rose Lau. Melanie McDonald. Danielle Mary McDonald Cousineau. Mira Charlotte Maloney. Francesca Celia Malte. Caitlin Emily Mann. Natasha Jade Martinez. Emma Jane McIntosh. Michelle Lynn McLeod. Danica Lynn McVeigh. Kelsey Leanne Miller. Kelvin James Mills. Mackenzie Lee Monaco. Morgan Kate Montgomery. Natasha Lorraine Morris. Justine Nugent. Derek William Nicholson. Megan Nicole Olinsky. Bailey Doris Parks. Carlos Preza Healy. Emily Louise Marie Richard. Molly Mackenzie Riediger. Mary Angela Crystal Rogers. Oscar Israel Romero. Megan Catherine Louise Rustling. Tessa Grace Ryan. Jessica Idea Santini. Brianna Schwantz. Jennifer Claire Cito. Braden Alexander Shaw. Bethany Taylor Smith. Megan Lee Smith. Jessica Anastasia Sokolovsky. Cyril May Suller. Kennedy Hannah Marie Tong. Caitlin Blanche Tolentino. Rachel Ann Toman. Rachel Vanderdulen. Autumn Rain Verellen. Jacob Romain Otway Villanueva. Jamie White. Shannon Marie White. Anna Josephine Wisniewski. Tiffany Wing Yin Wong. Recipient of the Alumni Gold Medal for the Faculty of Education, Carly Lee Zeller. Madam Chancellor, this ends the list of those presented for degrees from the Faculty of Education.
Madam Chancellor, I am pleased to present the following for the degree of Master of Arts from the Faculty of Music. Anne Paula Bautista. Christopher Mallon. Madam Chancellor, this ends the list of those presented for the master's degree from the Faculty of Music. Madam Chancellor, I am pleased to present the following for the degree of Bachelor of Music Honors Program from the Faculty of Music. Francesca Angelis Aguiling. Francesca is the recipient of the Alumni Gold Medal for the Faculty of Music. Congratulations. Will Scott Ainsbury. Mary Antoinette Azuz. Xander Kobe George Bashard. Paul George Booker. Emily Ann Bauman. Gabrielle Cathray. Felicia Chaves. Catherine Emily Crawford. Katrina Evelyn Violet Elms. Allison Rose Ford. Megan Galina. Timothy James Goldsmith. Hannah Grace Margaret Gunther. Megan Linda Guimet. Sujil Joshua Hom. Ashton David Hart. Rebecca Elizabeth Hillis. Benjamin Robert Hurt. Vanessa Hoffman. Samantha Elizabeth McEwen Johnston. Curtis Victor Keenleside. Michael Joseph Stephen Kellerman. Henry Michael Kelsey. Daniela Wilhelmine Kistemacher. Julia Daisy Karelik. Miranda LeBlanc. Jeremy Lostraco. Samantha Lynn Lyons. Abigail Mary Vasilakos McPherson. Dune Maharaj Pompa. Erin Laura McNair. Ryan Gregory Minton. Morgan Elizabeth Myers. Rebecca Ruth McCallum Mayette. Hannah Nicoletta. Hannah Marie Piercy. Ethan Pister. Ramya Ramachandran. Kevin Martin Rops. James Michael Rotundi. Mackenzie Taylor Secchi. Jotham Edward Senema. Skylar Martin Shelley. Jessica Alexandra Raimundo Silva. Jonathan Sean Alexander Smichael. Philip Douglas Spence. Megan Aveline Story. Sinyu Sui. Spencer Douglas Sweet. Paula Constance Turnbull. Kristen Marie Whittle. Pei Shu Yang. Boot Zondak. Madam Chancellor, this ends the list of those presented for degrees from the Faculty of Music. Congratulations.
Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I request you to confer degrees in absentia to the eligible candidates who are unable to be present today.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I confer degrees in absentia to the eligible candidates who are unable to be present today. I would now like to present the celebratory alumni welcome video made for the class of 2023 by the Wilfrid Laurier University Alumni Association.
Congratulations! You did it! You're a Laurier grad, and now you can look back with pride and look to your future with excitement. Today isn't just about receiving your degree. It's also about celebrating the journey you took to get here. It's about remembering your first day on campus, your first Laurier friend, your first class. It's about thinking back on those late-night study sessions, your favorite profs, and all the memories you made here. It's about the times you faced new challenges and pushed through. It's about how much you grew and how much you learned. It wasn't always easy, but you did it. You've earned this moment. Enjoy it and be proud of all you've achieved. And while your journey is far from over, remember, no matter where you go or what the future brings, you are a Golden Hawk for life. You are alumni for life. You are Laurier for life. Stay connected. Stay involved. And most of all,
stay golden.
Stay golden.
Stay golden.
Stay golden.
Stay golden.
stay golden. Stay golden.
Thank you to the Alumni Association for providing that celebratory and inspirational message. I now invite recent Laurier music graduate Ben Wallace to the stage to lead us in the singing of the national anthem. Please rise as you are able.
O Canada,
with love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Ben. Following the ceremony, everyone is invited to take photographs and commemorate this special occasion in the atrium. Congratulations once again to all our graduates, and thank you all for joining us here today. Please remain at your seats until the recessional is complete. Convocation is dismissed.